What it do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of the Daily K Podcast. And on today's episode, we have Mr. Alexander Warren, owner of the Warren Group, a nonprofit consulting firm here in Houston, Texas. Mr. Warren is going to talk to the KTTV audience about how he supports new startup nonprofit organizations, his tailor-made system to support existing nonprofit organizations, and how you can attend one of his free seminars and more. Stay tuned. How you doing today, Dr.
Very
Warren?
good, sir. I got the cold thing.
Yes, sir.
Got it cold.
All right. I sure want to appreciate you. Say thank you for coming down and talking to the KTTV audience, man. As we try to be more informative, I believe you got some good information that everybody needs to hear. And so as we jump right into the interview, can you give me a little bit of background about you and how the Warren Group came to existence?
Well, the Warren Group came to existence about 2 years ago.
Okay.
After I stayed in the car during Hurricane Harvey for 3 days. And I actually wrote 3 different business plans on a pad like that in 3 days. 3 different business plans. But out of those 3, we used to have a tutoring company for 14 years. But out of those 3, this is the one that actually I'm working on.
Yes.
The tutoring company is coming back.
Okay.
So I sent out probably 200 resumes to people about jobs. I was working at Lone Star. I was doing some other things. I was still there in 2017. But one night I got upset because I did a seminar and all of a sudden only 4 people showed up. So I was upset. And that night I came home, I was at home and I'm thinking, people need to know the information. So out of the 4 contacts, I turned those into 4 Facebook contacts, 4 emails. Now we have over 260 emails and over 530 Facebook contacts for the Warren Group. Okay. So we've been doing nonprofit work for a long time. Both BS degree from University of Missouri, master's degree from Purview in agriculture education, and then a PhD from University of Texas in higher education, community college leadership with nonprofit, philanthropy, and community service from the RGK school in the nonprofit sector. So we're well equipped, well educated. The passion is there to actually do this. So I was thinking, why couldn't I actually get it in front of people? So since then, I'm currently working with about 34 active clients. Okay. In the year that I started, we probably had about 6. And then I went through I ordered business cards, 500 business cards. It took me a year and a half to get out of those business cards. So now I'm into business cards, and it's taking me 6 months to get out of 500. So I know we're just handing out a lot more business cards. We have a lot of traction.
Still big. It's growing though. And so how long have y'all been in business totally?
20 years in doing nonprofit consulting. But as my own company for the last 2 years. Okay. So it's growing then. And like you say, the biggest thing is that email list of the people that I can reach out and just talk to. Just like you and I mean, Messenger. I didn't see your message, and I was like, who is this guy? And then all of a sudden we talked, and he said, oh, this is what I like to do. Because I hate to say it, but there are some, erroneous and spams and all kinds of other activities. And they call and ask for your information, and it's like, I don't think so. So, but I'm happy to do this.
Man, I'm glad you came down. Wow. Like you say, standing at Harvard, and a lot of things come out of the system. And so here we are. So what is basically the vision or the mission for the Warren Group?
Well, if you Google anything on nonprofits, as of right now, you will get 12 million hits within 3 seconds. They will tell you how to start a nonprofit, how to grow your nonprofit, how to fund it, where you can get personal grants and everything else. It's up to a person to actually then be a researching person, to be interested in the information. Fine. I will not actually sit here and actually cancel somebody else's business or talk about somebody else's business. But all I want to do is to be that company, that person, that consultant who can look a person in the eye instead of actually giving you a stack of paper online or be the accountant or the CPA or the attorney who gives you a stack of paper without you knowing what that is. I will not work with a client who just says, hey, can you set me up? No, I won't. We'll sit down in a group like this. I'll sit down with your board members. We'll sit down and actually go through that, because I want you to be, as your principal, you want your instructors to be knowledgeable about TEA, about current strategies, best practices. So same thing with myself.
Yes.
And I want to make that personal contact.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And so as you get with them, what are some of the services that you offer to the clients?
For example, this afternoon, just got a call on the way down here from a young lady. She was referred to me from another client.
Yes.
And she received her information from the IRS. But she was like, what do I do with it?
Yeah.
And I said, who did it for you? Well, I had somebody else do it.
Okay.
So we're meeting tonight at 7. I can do that. So the services I provide, there are 3 tiers or 3 levels. One is, if you are starting a nonprofit, you need to know the foundations. What are nonprofits? Where they come from, the history. You may not want to hear that. Where you are in the philanthropic world, you're about to jump into a whole big sea of stuff.
Yes.
And if you don't know what you're doing, or you don't have the guidance to it, you're going to, not say fail, but you'll have some challenges in actually making it happen. So one is actually starting, managing, and then the management of it, board development, organizational development, strategic planning, actually getting to know who you are, what are your strengths and weaknesses, why did you set this organization up, your mission, objectives, the goals, the vision, the overall perspective of the organization. And you didn't set it up for yourself. So you're setting it up for the hood, the neighborhood, but the hood that you want to serve. And as you do, that's why you're doing this. So and then the third level of services would be actually maintaining and funding. Sustainability. How do we get you to a point where we can apply for community building grants, philanthropic types grants, and then foundational and financial support from other levels.
Okay. And so I know we talked about Facebook being one avenue, and then email. So what other ways are some other ways that you're gaining clients or getting the word out about the Warren Group?
I will tell you, just like today, I was over at the library. And I also do seminars, free seminars at the library twice per month. The first Tuesday and the last Tuesday in the month. So a person coming to the library, they'll probably call me back again. And I let them know at the library that that's free, but then when they talk to me, then we have a certain, fee per hour or for one whole annual contract. So I get contacts, we're contacted through referrals, which is great. Word of mouth is always good. And then Facebook. So I don't look at Facebook, and I don't go through Facebook looking at who's cooking the latest thing for Thanksgiving. When someone says, KT is a nonprofit. My question is, what kind of nonprofit are you? Are you listed in the state? Are you listed in GuideStar? Are you listed in the IRS? So then, if I can't find that information, then I'll give you a call. Just to reach out, give you my information. And invariably, as we say, I will get a call probably 1 or 2 weeks later from the person saying, well, we spoke, because they may be somewhat embarrassed to let me know, but that's okay. I have resources. I can find out things that people don't tend to think you can find out. So
it is helping them from that point.
Yes, sir. So networking, people I know, people reaching out, and besides that, we just don't do nonprofit work. I've got a young lady who wants to do a set of program descriptions for her programs, not activities. Right now, bicycles, turkeys, and coats for the homeless are great, but those are activities. How can you actually help a person with soft skills, job training, culinary skills? How can you help them with computer skills? Those are programs. Programs get you grant money. Activities get you a picture. And then people see it, but they don't actually support it because it's not sustained through the whole year. So what we try to do is to help organizations understand what their purpose is. Charitable, educational, religious, literacy, whatever their purpose is, and then we try to tie that into what they want to do. And if there is some kind of disorganization in that, then that's when we start doing strategically planning,
Yeah.
to get them and keep them on track.
Okay. Wow. Come on, man. So that is deep, but it's necessary. You know, as being an administrator, you know, I think about the people who in school say, well, I want to help kids or I want to do this. And so then they're arranging activities, you know?
That's correct.
And
That's correct.
Yeah.
They're not, activities get you, as I said, a picture.
Yeah.
It gives you a Facebook post. It gives you that Instagram.
Yes.
But, for example, bicycles. Well, let's say back to school supplies.
Yes.
Everybody does it in September. But in your school, how many students do you know who need ongoing tutoring?
Yes.
Ongoing educational preparation, college preparation at the upper levels. Parents who you're giving the homeless, you're giving food to on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
But some of those folks actually need job training skills. Do you have a job training program? Can they come to an office like this, sit in front of a computer, learn computer skills, learn resume writing, learn speaking, interview skills? What are the soft skills? And then what are the hard skills? And then if you have a job training program, welding, auto body,
Yes.
construction, or whatever, those are programs. Those you can get funded. But when you parachute into a situation, next couple of weeks you're going to hear everybody jingle, 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 and down the street with the the white horses and everything else. But at the same time, how is that sustained into January, February, March? You know, people will still be hungry.
Yeah.
Turkeys can still be bought. I got a request a couple of days ago. Can you help me get 200 turkeys? And I said, you knew about this back in June. Why didn't we start back in March asking companies for 200 turkeys? You could have gotten 10 per month, 5 per month, until you get to December or next week when you need them. They didn't like my answer a little bit.
Yeah, but the truth hurts.
Correct.
The truth hurts. All right. Okay. Oh, I was just saying you hitting.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. Sorry. We edited it out. Well, that part would be good, but just think about it. But we're going to keep it
I
rolling.
was trying to emphasize.
Yeah, man. I
Put the
wish.
emphasis.
I wish. It just be, I learned over the time. No, we cut it out.
Yeah.
Oh, so then going forward, I know you say you're doing the library, which is awesome because it's free and you're going to catch people right where they are. And you at the library, so you're trying to get some kind of information.
But that's an arranged workshop. When I go down there, I go for two reasons. One, we have arranged workshops on the first Tuesday and last Tuesday of the month. But like today, I'm there. I'm doing my own work. I'm doing company work. I can use their That's another service. You can use their Wi-Fi. You can use computers there if you want to. You can use a laptop if you don't have one. So as a business person and an entrepreneur person, I could have been at home. But since 10 o'clock this morning, I'm down there sending out emails and doing some other things. Nobody bothers you. It's like a working space. And it does work. So you pay your tax dollars for that kind of thing. So you can use it.
Yeah, and that's kind of was my mentality here. It was like, okay, I could have did this at the house, but I get down here and we've been at 3. I've been here maybe since about 12. But it's still a good workspace. So I got my laptop. I'm working on the releases for tomorrow.
That's good.
So
Very
I understand. Take advantage of it, man. So what other community events do you hold as far as the Warren Group?
Well, on the other side, the library workshops are free.
Okay.
I also do my own workshops. We have a location that's at the Southwest Freeway and Buffalo Speedway. Okay. It's one of those big white buildings for those folks who know about it. 26, I think 46, that building, 378, the third floor. Well, what I do there is a workshop, and I don't know if I can mention prices or whatever, but
please.
Well, we do the workshop there, and they're usually about $49 a person.
Okay.
And it's 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours of 2 types of workshops. Depends on which one you are. If you are a startup, it's 3 hours of learning how to submit your forms. What are nonprofits? Nonprofit law is for it. Well, I'm not an attorney or CPA, but nonprofit law as far as what I can tell you about. Also, we talk about the formation, state forms, your EIN number, your articles of incorporation. And then finally, we talk about applying to the government for the 1023 form, which is also the 501c3,
Yes.
either the short form or the long form, whichever you need. The other side of the workshop, the next 3 hours, if it's that same Saturday, then I'll spend the time with a group who's already organized. Everything from, as I said, development, board development, finding board members, reconnecting to your purpose, taking a look at your strategy,
Yes.
who you are, how do you market, what your business cards look like. I've seen business cards that are totally black and the writing is purple or red and you can't read it.
Yes.
But you're happy with it, giving it to someone. My cards, I didn't give you one, but my card is, I want you to see it. It's totally green, totally white. There's no distinction. I just want people to know that's who we are. So when I use that example, I tell people, be accountable to the reader, not to yourself. You know, you might buy clothes because you like them and you like them. But now, what about somebody seeing you in that?
Yes.
Or what about somebody seeing how you're marketed? And then also applying for grants. What are your programs? What are the programs that you have? Program budgets, organizational budgets. What is the structure? Is it just a president, secretary, and treasurer, or do you have an executive director in place?
Okay.
Is there somebody who can actually then take the calls for you?
Yeah.
Instead of you doing this, can you put somebody in place, an intern or somebody you're paying, or somebody who wants to do it out of the goodness of their heart, and you can go off and do some golf or tennis or something, or
Get set up.
or cruise on your on your yacht.
Come on now. Hey. Okay, and so that was one of my next questions was like how do you help someone who's struggling to get from point A to point B? Because I know for me, a lot of it is for grant writing. You know, especially like the teachers, we got things for our class, so they say so many places, but then they don't know how to even start it out to get there. So let's say if people are struggling or wrestling with starting up their company, how do y'all come in?
Well, you know, I taught in college for 22 years.
Okay.
And I worked in high schools as an, not adjunct, but as a substitute.
Yes.
I worked around inmates as an instructor also. But the one thing that we always had was that power to be the instructor. And I've always told people, the first time you come into my classroom and tell me what to do, I'm resigning.
Okay.
Because that's not your job. I was trained to do it. I know what best happens in here.
Yes.
I know this environment. But the minute you try to do that, then I told the administrator that, and I left.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in my resume somewhere.
Yeah.
But because they didn't understand, it wasn't their school. It's taxpayer people coming in. So teachers have a lot of power.
Yes.
Going back, Texas is a home rule state. The United States still is rooted in education. So teachers at a school, when they need something, I just helped a young lady get a printer, printer and a computer from Best Buy. We wrote the letter, and I have the letter in my phone. I can let you see it. The copy of it in my email. She sent me a letter. It didn't read well, so I crafted it. I sent it back to her by the time she wanted to send it. Best Buy, the local Best Buy in that city, she took the letter to, and the manager called her back in about a week and said, "Oh, is there anything else you would need?" And she said, "Laptop and desktop." He said, "Well, we can give you either or, but it belongs to the school."
Yeah.
So she's getting she's gotten a new desktop and she had a laptop already, desktop and a color computer. Color printer to be used. So teachers have a lot of, but you as a principal, you as an administrator, you as a superintendent have to let them do that.
Yes.
Teachers can combine their efforts. They can go out into the community and ask for stuff.
Yes.
But I do know teachers they're overworked. They don't, when they need stuff, they rely on the administration.
Yes.
That got me into trouble usually because I ain't asked y'all for nothing.
Yeah.
And I said ain't. Because I would go out and get stuff. And when you'd come back, you'd say, "Well, where does this come from?" "Well, what's it to you? You didn't help me get it."
Yeah.
I'd have a conversation.
Yeah.
But the conversation was, "Mr. Johnson, this is what we got. This is why we got it. How did you do that?" "Well, it's the ability, working with people, the relationships. We're always talking about it. You can build relationships. You can build collaborations.
Yes.
You can let people know as a teacher what you want.
Yes.
And you're a nonprofit. You're working for a nonprofit, school district or college or university or whatever. So people still respect what people do.
Yes.
So when you need something, they'll help you.
Yeah.
We set up a garden at an elementary school a couple years ago. 24 garden beds, 24 beds. Home Depot gave us all the seeds. They gave us the water system. The city of Houston gave us the tarp. We put down, didn't take out all the grass. We put down, it was a 2,000 square foot area. You know those big latex signs they take down?
Yeah.
On 59? You see those things at the Rockets, whatever?
Yeah.
We had one of those.
Okay.
And there were about 4 of them, but different ones. But we had one Rockets, and there was a Rockets player on it with all of this wording. It's now underneath that ground. We put them on the ground.
Yeah.
We built the garden beds that were basically 4 by 10, and filled them in with soil. And right now, and then we built it so that students who are ambulatory and those who are in wheelchairs could actually roll themselves in. And this is at a high school, elementary school up in Spring. So they gave us all of that, gave us the soil. We got the soil. I got the stones. We had the water system. We had the seeds. And as teachers, the science teacher arranged it, and she worked with the administration, and they said, just do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
And we worked with them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
teachers can get what they want,
Yes.
but they have to know they're empowered to do that. If you don't want to do it, let them do it.
Yes.
Empower them to do that. Like I said, the young lady with the printer. I have other examples,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's so many.
Come on, man.
The people just reaching out,
Yeah.
doing what they need, and being surprised. Wow, I didn't know we could do that.
Okay.
4 pallets of school supplies to fill 2,500 backpacks, and then the Backpack Buddy program
Yes.
that you're
Oh, yeah.
familiar with. That
Yeah.
you're familiar with.
Yes.
We help teachers with that. 500 backpacks out of 2,500s being filled with supplies,
Yes.
and then the kids turning those into food containers to take home Friday, Saturday, or Friday
Yeah.
to bring back on Monday with the Houston Food Bank.
Yeah, that's it. Backpack buddies.
There you go.
Yeah, we loaded up a lot yesterday.
The only thing I say about that is not in the bags.
Yes.
Not in the brown bags, and not in distinctive backpacks, but different types of backpacks, so
Yes.
kids don't know. And they can't say, hey, he's a backpack buddy.
Yeah.
And then when it becomes popular, and folks will say, oh, that's a backpack buddy.
Yeah.
But it will take some time. You don't want to body shame or shame.
Yeah, that's
a person.
it. That's
You know.
yeah. I
Yeah.
understand totally because I come from a special ed background, so
There you
of
go.
course you got
There
to
you
be
go.
real low key with
Yes,
that. So
sir.
same difference.
There you
Same
go.
difference. That's why the lady at my school is so awesome because you almost kind of know who those kids are, but it's so much love and things centered around it until they really trying to help the kids out. So I'm really happy about that. But I understand what
Very
you're
good.
saying.
Very good.
So
Very good.
as we move on, and maybe you covered this, but just to put it all in one place, I want to start a nonprofit.
Okay.
Where do I go? What do I do?
Well, I could say you could call the Warren Group first of all.
There we go.
I know. I know. But it's like anything else. I always tell people in seminars, you saw something.
Yes.
You walk outside this door, go east or west, across the street, you're going to find someone who needs help.
Yes.
Homeless, jobless, whatever. They're going to need help. Then it's up to you to decide if you have the ability to time, efforts, and those kinds of things to put that in place.
Yes.
If people go to whatever church or whatever situation you're on Sunday or whatever your life is, I can't say, whatever your religious background is, or maybe not. Whatever you decide, then you have to decide what purpose that is. What purpose would you want to serve? And as you look at that, investigate that first of all.
Okay.
You investigate a purpose and start looking at the research on it. Next couple of weeks, everybody's going to be feeding somebody. They're going to be feeding downtown, around the park. They'll be underneath the bridges, whatever. Is that going to be an agency, or is that going to be an operation or an organization or individuals? Individuals will do it and they'll get a good feeling out of it. But here again, that's sustainability.
Yes.
How do we sustain this for the rest of the 6 months or a year or 100 years?
Yes.
You have to discover that. And then you have to start looking at people with like minds. For example, in your school or in my school, if I needed tutors, if I want to start a nonprofit for kids who needed educational help, I may not have all educators on the board.
Okay.
You got to start looking at your board. I need a president, secretary, and treasurer. In the state of Texas, they're directors. I just need 3 people. I can have 10, 15, but I just need 3 to say that they will start as my directors.
Okay.
And then what we do, we do the paperwork. But by that time, when you get to that point, you should actually call me, the Warren Group, because then I can come in and explain the 202 forms to you. We explain what happens in the state of Texas. You can fill it out online, or you can actually send it. It takes 2 weeks to get it back. And I got a call this morning from a young lady who said, "Oh, my paperwork came back online." And I said, "Okay, Miss Jones," not her name. Why? She said, "Because I put the organization's name in as the registered agent." Nah, wrong.
Okay.
Because then she has to check some other boxes. If you do that, then you're changing the aspect of what the organization is. If you're filling out the paperwork, then you need to be the registered agent. Of course, you can do some other things, but that's usually the customary way of doing it. So she then did that, and it's gone again. But that was a good lesson to her because she had been talking about it, and she's been doing it. She decided to do it online, but now all of a sudden she and her board said, "Oh, let's do it online. Let's go ahead." I filled it out for them in the room when we were sitting down. The 4 of us, I said, "This is the box to check." But when they decided to go online, they missed that. So that was a good lesson to them that you should have checked. So now you set that in place. Then we sit down and we do the articles of incorporation, the bylaws, what the organization will do, how long they will do it, where they will do it, how many times they're going to do it, how many people can vote, what kind of votes can we take, what is the dissolution clause. If you build this organization in 15 years, if you decide to tear it down, where does the assets and liabilities go? You're going to have assets, you're going to have liabilities.
Very important.
So where does that go? You have to set that up by government, the IRS standard, and state of Texas standard rules and regulations. You do that, and then you have to have also a conflict of interest clause. I mean, for example, conflict of interest. You know, if you're in your school, or if I'm in my if I were a nonprofit in my company, could I? And this is my building. I'm in the nonprofit. Could I rent this building to people coming in here? No, because I could rent it, but could I make money on it? No. Because if I'm on the board, president, secretary, treasurer, board members don't make any money. That's also in the bylaws. Now, I've had people ask me before, "Oh, but I've seen." Well, let me see where it says that in their bylaws. If you have a company that can go 4 deep as far as attorneys, attorneys can write up anything at all. But if you're starting out, can't do that. You have to have a clear-cut image to a donor as to what you're doing. No conflict of interest, but the dissolution clause, what you say is what you're going to do. And then, so after that, we do the pay.gov account, and then we sign up to do the 501c3, 1023 application. It's $275 to the government. With my services, I'm $69 an hour, but at the same time, I'm actually $679 to a person, a client, for 1 whole year. If you want my services next year, then we can always do that on a as needed basis. Doesn't include grant writing, doesn't include a number of other things, but because I have to have those ongoing. But that's basically it. Starting with the purpose and then putting everything together. But I would always tell people to have a consultant come in. Do not start the process. And I was in Prairie View yesterday with the group, 6 people, and the young lady said, "Oh, by the way, I pulled down the application." And I said, "What application did you pull down?" She said, "Oh, the 32-page application. We've started that." And I said, "Do you have more than $50,000 in assets?" "No." "Do you have more than $250,000? No, $50,000 that you're putting into it?" "No." "Do you have more than $250,000 in assets and liabilities?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Why would you pay $600 when you could actually save yourself $400 by just doing the 275, 4 pages instead of a 32-page application that requires another 4 different attachments. And she said, oh. I said, did you learn something? She said, I said, did I bring value to your life in about 3 minutes?
Yes.
She said, oh, wow.
Yes.
So that's what a consultant like myself does. I don't know what other people do. I don't know about their services, but I know what I do. And like I said in the beginning, I want to be that person. The Warren Group wants to be that person or that company, which you can call and actually get the kind of information. You know, it may cost you $69 an hour, and I recommend 2 hours because, you know, even though we're sitting here, it's already probably an hour that we've been talking. So everything we get edited down to what you want to do, because there's going to be a lot of frivolous conversation, but it's actually coming down to what it is that you need to do. And I try not to get to that point real quick, because if I do, then you're like, well, wow, you came in, you gave me the answers, now what do I do with it? I want to explain. I'm an educator. So we want to explain, go to the board, write it out. I carry markers with me when I go to meetings. So if there's a board, well, not a wall like that, but a board, if I can write on it, I try to do that. Or I take my laptop and we try to do, give you the vision instead of just the big auditorium.
Man, you know, people need to see it. You know it. They need to hear it, see it, and most do it every time. Hey,
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
then, as you're 20 years in the game, 2 years with the Warren Group, how have you seen things change over time as far as the beginning of consulting? And so how does that make you better as things change?
Well, this is good. I mean, it's like radio. When I was back in my college days, I did radio and television. I cut tape. I remember, like you said, you can edit this out. We cut the tape and put the tape together. A lot of tape on the wall, but now you can go back and edit in your laptop or whatever, and it's done within maybe 15-20 minutes. We spent 1 or 2 days doing voiceovers and everything. I mean, doing a remote thing like this, it took bringing in a whole busload of equipment. You would never just set a microphone and a camera and whatever else. There'd have to be somebody there. It was never remote. So just like that, the world of consulting, people are becoming, because of the world of information, information is so readily, you can find anything at all. Like I said earlier, you Google nonprofits, 12 million hits within about 3 seconds. Same thing. While I'm talking, while I'm in a seminar sometimes, I have people go online to the IRS. And they say, well, Dr. Warren, the IRS says. And I said, they're correct. Well, but that's not what. What's the question? I can help you with it. And then I'll say, go Google your question, and I bet you find another answer for it. And I'll say, you can sit here all day and look for information. So sometimes you can get, I said, information is so readily available that I've seen until people will challenge me as a consultant on my knowledge. So I always have to stay abreast. I read, as we say in church, to be informed, to be approved. We read. I'm a member of the nonprofit philanthropy article, newsletter. It comes out every day. I get one every day. I may not read it every day, but I get it every day. So when I have time, I'll go back and I'll read through it like 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 or whatever. And it starts the day because I may not use that information right then, but it's in my arsenal of information.
In the toolbox.
In the toolbox. So the readiness of information has changed. And then also, because there's so much information, it also makes people like myself kind of, what do you call it, the folks who we have to be honorable. We have to have integrity. We have to be quality and value. And if I say I'm going to do something, I have to do that because there's so many people out here who are not doing it. You know, I mean, they're not. You can call right now, ask somebody if they can be a grant writer. Yes, they'll be a grant writer. You give them your money, they'll write you a grant. They're not going to ask you whether or not you can actually be, if you're 501c3, if you have your board members in place, what is your budget? They'll probably even craft it up for you. I won't do that. So all I'm saying is that people do different things. So I would say the readiness of information, clients are now more informed. They can find information through it all, and they have more choices as to who can actually help them. So that's why, and then I also find that in this technology age, Facebook, Messenger, Twitter,
Yes.
Instagram, anything at all, people can see you. They can go back and see what you've done.
Yes.
Your website. They can ask people questions. Excuse me. And those people then can give them answers in a second as to yes, they're good, or no, they're bad, or as they say, girl, or let me tell you what happened. So it's either your reputation in a second, or it's a long time relationship.
Okay, man. So now, as we talk, man, and man, just once again, thank you, man. With the breadth of information and knowledge, like somebody is going. I can see it happening. So, any tips for people who want to start their own consulting business? They kind of want to do some of the same things you're doing.
Is this where I plug in myself, like
the
Warren Group?
Yeah, all that. So yeah.
Well, are you gonna run that on the bottom or somewhere?
Okay, I can put like a little ticker.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we are the Warren Group. 2 years we're around. As I said, my fees are $69 an hour or $6.79, but that's the basic annual service. I mean, when I looked at this, all the services that we do, it came out to be about $2,100.
Wow.
About 3 times as much, because there's so much.
Yes.
I mean, I do the grant writing. Grant writing, it takes me about 4 hours to work on any one situation, and I'm not going to sit there right now today and do just one thing, but I work on several things because I'm that kind of guy.
Yes.
I'm the kind of guy who, when I was working on the PhD, I had jazz over here, I had chess over here, and I had research over here.
Okay.
3 different computers. So when the guy moved in chess, the jazz was always playing, and that was the quiet.
The quiet storm.
But then when when he was when I would look at the chess moves, I didn't win all the time, but it helped me to think through it. And then when I was doing the research, I would sit there and I'd say, oh, that's a good article. And I'd pull down the article, look at it, and go back and do a chess move. So I would say in doing that, you have to have a variety. In reference to the question, which was if someone was actually looking to get into the business, is that the question, right?
Yes.
Then you would have to, as I said again, I think we talked about that. I mean, develop that passion.
Okay.
The other thing too, difference between starting your own business as a consulting business and starting a nonprofit business. The nonprofit business, both of them are going to be serving a need.
Yes.
One is more integral. Well, they're both. But one is actually serving the needs of so many others.
Yes.
But the business serves, I'd say, a personal need. And that is paying for houses, paying for cars, paying for all that. But you have to set it up. I don't care how you do it. For example, the Warren Group, LLC. But you can start out as a DBA, doing business as. And I hear people say, oh, I started my nonprofit as a DBA. Why? You don't need that. That's a for-profit piece.
Okay.
Nonprofit, for-profit, keep those separate.
Yes, sir.
So in this case, the nonprofit, my company, DBA, you can start it as an LLC. I'm not looking for investors later on. Somebody may come by and say, hey, look, I want to buy your company. I'd say, heck yeah.
Yes.
Notice I said heck.
Yes.
I'd say, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's sit down and come up with a value. You write a check. These are the assets. These are liabilities. You're going to have all my thousands of Facebook, thousands of emails, all my contacts.
Yes.
Fine. Then again, I might not. Because at that time, I want to build this, so I have a grant writing staff. I have a strategic planning staff. I have a person who can do seminars for me, just seminars. And then out of that, we then get clients who then go to the strategic writing, strategic area.
Yes.
There are 4 different components that I want to put in place. Office management, as I said, developing fundraising, the strategy, and then I need social media, website development, basically that kind of technology. So those 4 people, I am learning. I have an associate now, and she actually has a master's from U of H in nonprofit management, and she then can actually do the grant writing. She can actually go out and do the strategic planning. But with the way that I'm working now, just like this afternoon at 7, I may not have wanted to go to meet somebody at 7.
Yes.
I may have been going to somewhere else. But because it's me, my company, I didn't pick up the phone and say, hey, Miss Jones, can you go meet Mr. KT at 7? No, but as a company owner, if I had that in place, would I do that? That's their Saturday. You got to be like me.
Yes.
You know, I go home and it's just me. So I'm not worried about, you know, feeding a cat or a dog or, you know, kids or whatever.
I'm in the same boat, man. I understand.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, so what happens, we know those kinds of things. You have to be there available for a situation.
Yes.
I've had people call me when I was doing grant writing or fundraising. When I ran several fundraising operations, you know, Dr. Warren, we have a check for you. I'd be on 45, going north in the traffic, and it's about 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've told the kids that I'd be there on a Friday afternoon, and it's like the movie starts in about 20 minutes at Willowbrook or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, you have to pick it up because we won't be here. So in that case, I'm not saying hold it until Monday. I remember that several times I would turn around, go pick the check up, make a call to the family and say, look, go to the movie, go ahead, I'll be there. Or the dance recital or something. When somebody called and said, we're doing this, but I'm on the way to an event. You have to be that kind of person because people can change their minds about how they want to support you. So as a business, you have to be responsive to a need. You have to use your passion. Everything you know about what you know, but it's not about you. It's about how you can understand somebody else. The lady this afternoon, she has a stack of paper from the IRS and other things. I don't know. I understand what that means, but I don't know what she has. I would never tell her on the phone, oh, you need to do this, this, and this, because I don't know. I would never conclude that. So as far as the business, the person just has to decide how they want to be funded. Can they put their own monies into it? The Warren Group, it's my money so far. We've got probably 2 credit cards that are just for the Warren Group. You know, except one time when I used it for maybe lunch. But then again, it was a Warren Group lunch. You know? So you just have to decide how you want to fund it. I do this every day. I mean, when I was working at the college, fine. Hadn't worked in the college for a whole year. But you know, I've gained 5 pounds. You know what they say? You don't work, you don't eat. But I haven't had that problem.
Come on, man. Nothing like working for yourself and making it happen.
You know what people say, I will work 100 hours a week for myself. But I'll give you 40. That's it.
That's different, right? And because I'm living it. Like I said, this will be week 21, and
that's right.
You give it up. I mean, like you say, if you want to do it, you got to make up in your mind. Like I go to work, but then after that, I'm from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock. This, you know.
That's
so,
right.
But that's what I feel like it got to be.
So this morning, you know, I got in last night and cooked and everything else, and I was, you know, several times I get in late. I take the bus or the train. Like today, I'm on the train and the bus. When I leave here, I'm going to go down and take the 4 over to the next appointment. And I'm going to take that back over to where I've got to go to the 29. No problem. I got that down. I'm not going to park downtown. At the library, it's $8-10. I can use that for gas. Coming over here, I have to park somewhere. I don't know where your parking is. Didn't worry about it because I'm not parking. I walk from the library over here. It's only 15 minutes. Now I'm 64. I'm in shape. That's not a problem.
Come on, man.
So what I'm saying is that when I got up this morning, it was like, okay, do I want to be there at 10 or do I want to be there at 7? So I got up I was up already at 4. See these bags? So they come on. But I was getting some grant work done. I was getting it. I'm working on 3 websites right now. I have some, that's why I need that person. I need a dedicated person who just wants to sit in an office all day and crank out websites. A person who doesn't want to be around people. A person who doesn't want to be gregarious. Just let me sit here and do that. The grant writing person got to be upbeat. You know,
get out.
Yeah, because 2 different people. I understand that because I do it. There's certain aspects of this company I love all of it.
Yeah.
But there's certain things I'd rather have somebody else do, and then pay them to do that.
Yeah.
So this morning I got up. That's my thing. I wouldn't probably get up if I was in a college situation. Why?
Yeah.
I wouldn't get up on a Saturday morning to do your work.
Yeah.
I'd wait until Monday morning. But my work is anytime at all.
Full time.
So I would say anyone starting a consulting company,
Yeah.
first of all, know what you're good at.
Yes.
Take your passion and turn it into that. I've got a friend of mine. She's very well versed in facilities. Her job is to handle a college campus that has probably 10 different buildings on it. She knows each building. She knows fire code. She knows when they're doing the fire drill. She knows the code for people with disabilities. She knows how far the sidewalks and everything. I have no idea about that.
Yeah.
But now we were talking, and I said, one day she said, well, my job, the boss, the person above me, always comes in questioning what I do. And I said, you know this. Why don't you just turn it into a consulting company? There are people out here who don't know what you know.
Yes.
But when I said that, I didn't get the response. It's like, well, I could do that. Or it was like, well, maybe I could. But the second response was, well, I leave my benefits, I leave my salary, I leave everything that I get now on the 1st and 15th.
Yeah.
I heard that in the second response. So the first response was, wow, this is what I do.
Yeah.
And I just jumped back in and I said, that's what I do every day.
Yeah.
I go out looking for clients, or my phone goes off, and then I have to follow the trail of crumbs until I get to where I've got to go.
Yes, sir.
So I would say that's what a person has to do. They can do whatever they want, but you have to just jump out there entrepreneurially. And if you're working at the job all day, work at the job.
Yeah.
Have the job pay for. You got your lean, and you have your you got the thing that leans you, and you got your the lean and the other part that actually supports you. So work on the support, and then lean on what you need.
Yeah.
Use the support on the 1st and 15th to pay everything, but everything over here, work hard on that.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's
and it comes together. And always be positive.
Yes.
And just every day expect, when I look in the mirror, I'm taking a shower or brushing teeth, it's like, okay, Warren, who did we talk to?
Yeah.
What did we not do yesterday to get us to somewhere tomorrow? What can I do today to get me, to where I need to be later on? So every day you have to work on something. You may not want to.
Yeah, but you have to.
You got to.
Man, so as we wrap it up, if you can just give the audience, and if you can look right down, just give them all your contact information, I think we'll wrap it up from there.
Really? All the contact?
No, just anything you want to share with them.
Blood type and everything?
No, hey, whatever you want to share. Yeah. But because we want to make sure that people are able to come and see you and purchase time from the Warren Group.
Well, the Warren Group can be found on Facebook at Warren Group Business and Nonprofit Consulting. We can also be found, and if you click on that, you'll find the webpage, which is Warren Group 3 at hotmail.com, and you'll find that one. My number, 832-614-3396. Also email warrengroup3 at hotmail.com. warrengroup3 at hotmail.com. Facebook, email, all of that, you can actually find it.
Yes, sir.
And then also LinkedIn. You can also find us on LinkedIn. And just type in Warren Group or Alexander C. Warren, you'll find it. Not a problem. Yeah.
We'd like to thank Mr. Warren for stopping by and talking to the KTTV audience today. If you'd like to hear more about his educational background or his 22 years of service in nonprofit work, go to kttv.com for the full interview. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to let me know your favorite part of this video. This is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.